All right, here we go. It's a rainy day. I need some gas, and I'm a couple days away from a payday. And I am just trying to limp along until we get where I'm trying to go. I finally heard back from my editor today. I've been dying to hear some of her thoughts. And she has been MIA for a while. But I got to hear back from her today. Got some good thoughts on how to improve. And she made some fun comments about the good stuff. And so just really excited there to start sinking my teeth into that. Working on My Brother Kanan, which is my first attempt at literary fiction. She said that it was giving her outsider vibes, which I don't know that I've seen The Outsiders in a long time. I think my dad has that movie, so I could rewatch it if I so pleased. But she said it was good, that it was giving her outsider vibes, so that's good. But just very excited to start sinking my teeth. She gave me like 20 questions to dig into, which is exciting. But always trying to keep the story improving. It's raining. And I like to let you guys see the rain. Oops, you can't really, I can't see what you can see all that well because there is a cord in the way. Okay, I think the cord's no longer in the way. So we need to figure out what's going on there. But yeah, super excited to dig into my new suggestions on my novel. It has been a good chunk of time since I've done anything on it, and so she references these chapters, and I don't know immediately offhand what chapter she sees or what chapter she's on or what's going on in the story at that point in time. And so I'll have to readjust and figure out what's going on there. And she's given me some good opportunities to tighten up, which was one of my concerns kind of in the beginning, because I feel like there's a lot of instances where it's just kind of like stuff is just kind of happening, and I don't want it to feel like it's just a snapshot of scenes. I don't want it to feel like it's just like, oh, we did this, oh, now we're doing this, oh, now we're doing this, oh, now we're doing this. I want it to feel more like a fluid experience than snapshots of important parts of his life. And so, although I'm all for trimming the fat and getting to the point, I also don't want to trim it so much that you don't really notice what's going on. So we'll see what I can do to accomplish that. We'll see how it looks after she gets through it. Like I said, she's got a lot of good content, a lot of good questions, and I appreciate that. There's something to be said about doing this level of work on a story that you created, because like people read it and have opinions about it and stuff, and that's all well and good, and you want that, but like to get constructive feedback on it is also very rewarding. And so it'll be interesting for me to see as like big moments happen, how she feels about them and how they work or don't work for her, and just continuing to evolve from there. And hopefully we get to a really good place where I feel comfortable sharing the book with the world and being like, hey, this is what I've done, and that'll be really cool. But there's no real telling how it'll be received or perceived. I'm going to send this next version to my original editor who saw it the first time and get his thoughts and opinions on the matter one last time, because he's the one who's seen it now from draft 1 to 0. And so I want him to give his thoughts on the pre-release version of it, if you so to speak. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully we get some good stuff there. And like I said, it's exciting to be back on it, because I have not been on my A game in terms of writing in a while. I don't know if on my A game is the right word for it, but I haven't been doing like serious writing in a good while. And so to be serious writing and editing again feels good, because I feel like I've been away from it for a little bit. But yeah, I wish I was sitting in front of my computer and I could go down the 20 questions that she specifically asked me, so that I could talk to you guys and be like, this, and that. But it is unsafe to drive and read at the same time, so I'm going to refrain from doing that. I had to convince myself to film this video. I'm having a harder and harder time convincing myself to film these videos on the way home than I have in the past. And like, I usually always have a good topic to go at in the morning, and then when the afternoon comes around, I'm kind of topicless, and I'm like, I don't know what to talk about. And so we'll see what happens, where the world lands from there. But hopefully I can maintain good conversation pieces both on the way to work and the way home from. Like I said, right now I'm just consumed with the excitement of being able to work on my brother Kanan again and go down her list of questions and give her what she needs to see or what she wants to hear, and start working to make this the best possible book that it can be. It's sitting at like 138 words now, 138,000 words, excuse me, 138 words, that's silly. 138,000 words, and I'm all for trimming it down. We'll see how much trimming it gets, but I think that that'll be a good thing for it, because I feel like 138 is kind of fat. I'm not opposed to writing these kind of bigger books. Most of my books have been around the 70 to 90 range anymore. My first book was 118, and my second book was 122. And so this draft is at least longer than any of my other books has been. But I don't know if the draft will survive and continue to be that large, or if it will just comparatively be a bigger book. I don't foresee myself going from 138,000 back down to like 90, but I wonder if maybe it'll cut down to like 130, which will still make it the largest book that I've written, but it will hopefully make it a little more reasonable in length. The problem with when your book gets long is it becomes more expensive to produce. A longer book means more pages means it costs more to print. And so it's nice, if at all possible, to keep it in that wonderful range of 70 to 90. But if you can't, then you've got to hope that you can get in a range to where it doesn't really crank up the price. Because I feel like if you hit 500 pages, it doubles your printing cost. So once you hit the 500 mark, like, you're screwing yourself over on printing costs. And I think I even redid my original book, because my original book was well over 500 pages, but it was like size 14 font, which is like borderline large print. And so it was just like way larger than it needed to be. And then the book after that, which was even longer, was 122,000 words. I was like, I am not going to break my 500 words again and spend a stupid amount of money trying to get this thing published or printed. And so for that one, I shrunk the letters to like size 11 font, and I shrunk the spacing, and that one is scrunched to the max. And so it's like I have one extreme to the next. And then finally on book 3, I found my happy medium with formatting, and I do a 12.5 font with standard spacing, and that seems to get me to where I need to be. Now I have to watch it because my editors will oftentimes change my font size, and it's like, I wish you wouldn't change my font size. Leave my 12.5 alone and just focus on your little bit. But they will frequently change it, and then I have to go back and change it again. And I think this book has like over 30 chapters in it too, which is a different record for me in that most of my books sit around the 20 chapter range. In fact, when I plan a book out, I plan it to be about 20 chapters long, and then either run over during the actual writing process or stay right about where it's supposed to be. And so that's been interesting in that this book broke pretty much 2 of my records. It broke my longest writing streak, and it broke my most chapters streak, which could be potentially interesting because the chapters were almost cut significantly shorter than they are, in that I wanted to end it on chapter 24 initially, but I don't think there is enough of a conclusion in 24 to actually end the book on. And so I had to keep it going, but not arbitrarily so. So it was this whole big ol' thing, but I think at the end of the day, I was pretty happy with the second draft where it wound up. We'll see. I don't think that there's going to be too much major content changes from draft 2 to 3. I think it'll be mostly just trimming the fat. I think that's what my current editor is going to work on, is just making the stuff drag a little less. Like I said, I want it to have room to breathe. I don't want it to be like bam, 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 because that's unrealistic to one's life. But I also don't want it to be boring. And that is also a worry. And like, I've not ever written literary fiction before, and so I don't know that I need to, I don't know like the balances that I need to maintain. This Jeep needs to learn how to drive. The person in front of him is going way too slow, and so the Jeep will ride up to the person, brake and slow down, ride up to the person, brake and slow down, ride up to the person, brake and slow down. And it's like, that's not how you do it. Just pass the guy. If he's going too slow, pass him. And I don't know if it's the rain that's making this person nervous, or if they're just a nervous Nelly behind the wheel, but it's like, no, you can't be doing this whole like, that's obnoxious. I can't be braking on the highway ever. So that was a good thing to get around. But yeah, we'll see how this book unfolds, how she likes the initial chapters and how it works out. The big twist, so to speak, caught my original editor completely off guard. He's like, I did not see that coming at all. And I was like, aha, gotcha. And so we'll see what she says. If she was like, oh my gosh, I did not see that coming at all, I'll be like, aha, gotcha. And so, interesting to me to see how this goes. She complimented one of my dialogue segments, and now all I can think about is going home and reading this dialogue segment and being like, oh my gosh, it is good. I'm really good at this game. Dialogue is definitely my strong suit, I feel like, with books, and I hear that a lot. And so, and that's what, like, I feel like my dialogue is good, but when other people tell me my dialogue is good, that's like the affirmative section of it for me, is like, okay, now I can confidently say that my dialogue is good because I'm not the only one who thinks it. Like, I hear that compliment a lot. And like, I was working with a friend on a movie script, and he's like, I'm gonna lean on you for dialogue, dude. That's your thing. And I was like, all right, dialogue me up. And so yeah, Instagram's coming along pretty nicely. I've got a solid plan for releases on there. I've been doing some fun stuff with my gramophone, and I think that'll be like the future that I do now with releasing content. I went out and bought, so gramophones run on a 78, which is not your standard vinyl record. And I looked up a long time ago, the Everly Brothers is one of my favorite bands, and they're definitely one of the oldest bands that I listen to, like regularly. I listen to bands that are older than them, but like as far as bands that I like listen to and get into, they're probably the oldest. At any rate, when I looked it up, I was like, I wonder if they ever released anything on a 78 RPM record. And their first ever single was released on a 78. And I just so happened to check it last night, and somebody actually had one for sale. And so I bought it, and that'll be like a very exciting thing to have come in. And I'll be able to like make a big deal over that because I really like the Everly Brothers. And most of the musicians that I'm getting on this from this gramophone are just these random jazz, easy listening, opera kind of singers. And it's not that it's bad, it's just like that's just, it all kind of sounds the same. It's like, oh, this is just that really old stuff. And so, but it's also interesting, just like the age of some of these vinyls and stuff. Like the gramophone itself is a 1923 model. It's like that thing turned 100 years old last year, and it still cranks, it still turns, it still burns. And I wonder how long it sat like unused in somebody's basement or whatever. Somebody was giving it away, they sold it and all the 78s to go with it. And it was a cool little it was an awesome find. And it's becoming more and more awesome as I make it a part of my bigger music database, and that now I have gramophone songs from the 1940s in my music database. As I was going through trying to find the year on somebody else's track, I found that he has like a lot of Christmas songs, and now I'm obsessed with the idea of getting Christmas songs on my old 78 and being like, ooh, I can play this on the old 78. And that'd be really like an awesome mood. And so, yeah, being artistic and creative and fun. And I gotta go get gas today, and then hopefully I can stop spending money until payday on Friday. And we'll see what I buy on Friday. I already have a good idea of what I'll buy on Friday, but I need to figure out what I'm going to do for my birthday video. I hit somebody up and he wanted like $800 for this song, and I was like, I can't do that right now because it's expensive. But I don't know. I've been good about not dipping into savings. So I was like, oh, I could just do savings and then pay it back. I was like, no, you've been doing pretty good about not dipping into your savings. Like, I may not be adding as much to it as I'd like, but I'm at least not taking anything away from it, which is huge. So, all right, we're at the gas station. Normally, I would let you guys watch, but I want to listen to music on my way home, and YouTube always bans me when I do that, so I'm going to turn you all off. I hope you guys had a fun ride. I hope you guys are halfway interested in watching or reading My Brother Kanan. If you're not, you should be, and I'll talk to you all later.